I know who I think about that left a great impression on me is Amy Poehler from Parks and Rec.
Aziz, the film mixes comedy with some surprisingly existential themes. Were you aiming to marry Nietzsche and John Landis?
Whoa, I never thought about it in that terminology. I was kind of, what was I trying to mix? I think a big thing for me was those 30s films, Ernest Lubitsch, Preston Sturges, those movies that were very funny but dealt with a lot of these same issues of wealth inequality and class, but were really funny. And the idea of doing that movie in today's context was kind of a goal.
How much of you is in this story? Are there specific scenes that felt uncomfortably close to home?
Well, me and Seth always joke that we're much closer to Jeff than we are Arj. So maybe that stuff was. I've told this story before where I sent the script to Seth's writing partner Evan, and he was like, "This is weird. I'm reading this script of yours, and I'm in my sauna right now." So that Jeff stuff is sometimes maybe a little us making fun of ourselves. But as far as Arj, I've been fortunate. I've never been in that kind of situation where I'm sleeping in my car or anything like that. But I have had moments where I've felt like, oh man, like, even making the movie sometimes, it's like, oh God, like this is, why can't this just work out? But, you push through and everybody's had those moments where you feel like you want to give up. And I think, the movie's about that moment for this guy.
You've talked about simplifying your life and priorities. Did any of that bleed into how you approach making the film?
Simplify my life, what, in terms of like my whole kind of no phone, internet kind of stuff? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I think it definitely gave me the space to write more, and I've never written more and felt more productive in my life than since I kind of pushed aside smartphone use, internet use, and everything. But that's just me. I know that's not, something everybody can do. But
if you could go back and give yourself, your younger self, one piece of good fortune about Hollywood, what would it be?
I don't know. I feel like I'm so happy to be where I am now, and I wouldn't want to risk saying the wrong thing and screwing things up.
But you could say, invest in the stock of blah, blah, blah.
No, none of that. I'm happy. I'm very happy to be where I am.
Where did the seed of the story come from?
I think it's what I was saying earlier. You see the issues in the movie are all around us, especially in LA. And I was spending a lot of time in LA, and I was like, oh, there's some sort of movie here. And I had these characters in my head, and I guess the first big seed, the first thing that I was like, oh, this is a movie idea, is the idea of this angel coming and say, hey, I'm going to show you this lesson, and the guy being like, no, I'm good, I'm going to stay. I reject your lesson. And then I started coming up with ideas of like, well, what if the angel is not supposed to do that? What if the angel is supposed to only be in charge of saving people when they're texting and driving? And then, there's the idea of like, oh, what if the angel gets fired and then the angel has to become human? And then the angel's like struggling in LA. That was funny to me. So it kind of evolved from that place, I guess.
You cast yourself opposite Seth and Keanu. Was that always the plan, or did you ever consider staying behind the camera entirely?
There's always like a little part of me that's like, why don't I just call Riz Ahmed? He's a friend. Why don't I just call him and get him to do it? But when I'm writing it, it's the big advantage of writing for myself is like, I'm always in. I always agree to do my projects, and I don't drop out. I'm in. I'm very easy to work with. I do whatever I need myself to do. But no, what's great about knowing who you're writing for, even if it's yourself, is you really write to your own voice and you write to your strengths. And with Seth, I know him so well. I know his voice so well. I'm really able to write to him. And Keanu, his voice is so iconic. Even though I didn't know him, I was able to get it pretty close. And then once I got to know him and we got to spend time together and collaborate on the character, oh, then I really could dial it up, and it was a blast.
Describe Keanu in 3 words.
Oh, my beautiful angel.
I was going to say, describe Keanu in 3 words and don't use the word whoa. How about describe Seth in 3 words?
Oh, God. There you go. Oh, God. Does that answer work?
Works for me.
No, I both those guys are incredible. Yeah.
How do you balance the instinct to get the biggest laugh with the responsibility of making the film emotionally land?
I don't think they're mutually exclusive, and I think so much of writing and directing a film is just about tone and knowing what the tone is in your head, and sometimes that evolves as you make the film. And you know, as we kept working on the movie, more and more Gabriel stuff started coming in. There was more and more Gabriel ideas and storylines, and I think the movie became sweeter because of Keanu and because of the Gabriel storyline. So I think that kind of evolved the tone a bit.
Do you believe in angels?
You know, people have asked us this, and I don't know if I believe in angels per se, but there's definitely times where you have this feeling like, oh, someone or something was looking out for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Who is the director you previously worked with who left the biggest impression?
Wow. Well, I have an answer that's kind of you know, I know who I think about that left a great impression on me is Amy Poehler from Parks and Rec. She directed a couple of episodes, but not as much as a director, as more as just like as far as being a captain of a ship. And I took so much from her, and Alan Yang and I, when we were showrunners on Master of None, I think we learned so much from the example of her and Mike Schur on how to lead a show and to have a good time and have a environment where you do great work, but everyone has fun and there's a nice environment and everyone gets along. And I think we try to carry that through in all the work we've done. And yeah, I'm really grateful I got to work under them.
Speaking of Parks and Rec, The Office is getting a spinoff. Is there a possibility, or could it be in the cards for Parks and Rec to get a Tom Haverford spinoff?
Oh, whoa. I haven't heard about anything, but anytime I get to see any of the Parks castmates, I light up. I'm so happy. We were doing a camera test for Good Fortune, and there was a guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, hey, I'm Adam. I'm the assistant." I was like, "Adam, wait a second. You." He's like, "It's Sang from Parks and Rec." I was like, wait. He always called himself Sang on Parks and Rec, so I thought it was a different guy for a second because I saw Adam and he was introducing himself as Adam, and then I was so happy to see him. I hadn't seen him in so long, and I hugged him, and then like I took a pause. I was like, I gotta hug you again. Because we were a job like that. I don't know if I'll ever have a job like that again, where it's that many years and that long a thing. So it's such a close bond we all have, and I saw Rashida a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, any chance I get to see any of those people, I'm always very happy.
What do you think Tom Haverford is doing in 2025?
Oh God, hopefully he's okay and hasn't lost everything in ill-fated crypto investments.
A pyramid scheme. You got halfway through directing Being Mortal with Bill Murray before it was abruptly shut down. What did living through that kind of high-profile collapse teach you, and did any of that make its way into Good Fortune?
I didn't dwell in that collapse moment that you're describing. I had a moment where I kind of was like, okay, this is what's happened, and I was very grateful I'd been working on Good Fortune and had it in my pocket, a rough version of it. And there was something I read about Steven Spielberg when he did the film 1941, where that didn't go well, and he immediately, his advice was like, if something doesn't work, just immediately throw yourself into the next thing. Immediately, like don't even think about it. And he did that, and he made Raiders of the Lost Ark. And So I just kind of went with that. I just said, hey, you know what? Let's just go with good fortune. And of course, that was a disappointing thing, and maybe there's a world where we finish that. And I felt really bad for all the whole crew that worked on it, and Atul Gawande, who wrote the book and everything. But that's what happened. And filmmaking's tough, and there's the little stumbles of being mortal and good fortune, and the writer's strike and everything, Keanu hurting his knee. It's all very public. But every movie, there's no movie I've heard of where it's like, oh yeah, we had the script and it was smooth sailing. No, that's not a real thing. I mean, I learned stuff about like John Wick. There was some story a couple months ago I read where like at some point they were shut down, like Eva Longoria had to come in and save the movie. Like, who knew? And then when you watch, whenever I watch films, I always like to read the Wikipedia, and you read all these stories like, what? Brad Pitt was supposed to be in this movie and he dropped out like 2 weeks before? Like, there's full of these struggles, like, making a film, especially now, it's such an arduous journey, and just getting to the finish line is an achievement. And so I'm so happy that I'm here with the movie here at TIFF, and even that, I'm still like, I've already got another script ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to dive into the next one if I need to. So,
is there any world where you could finish Being Mortal?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've just got to kind of maneuver everything in my head, and I'm just kind of focused on good fortune right now. So I think I got to play that through and see where I am with all the things I want to do. But yeah, I would love to.
This movie, Good Fortune, riffs on fate and luck. Did making it shift your own outlook on how much control we actually have in life?
I think you just have to, I think you just have to try. And even when things are hard, you just have to keep pushing. And that can be really hard. But that's part of the journey. It's all a ride.